What's up, everybody? Marl the Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. Today, we are looking at Fantastic Four, issue number 16. This issue came out in July of 1963, and today we will be seeing the return of Doctor Doom. Well, how is that possible? We saw that he shrank into nothingness in issue number 10. Also, we're going to be seeing a guest appearance of the AntMan today. And so the AntMan is going to help the Fantastic Four defeat Doctor Doom today, but how are they going to do it when we see that the Fantastic Four have been shrunk to, just a tiny ant-sized form here? And so, how in the world is the Fantastic Four going to defeat Doctor Doom? Or are they even going to do that? We'll have to find all this out. So do not click away. We have a great issue that we're going to be looking at today. Today's title is The Micro World of Doctor Doom, with special guest star the amazing Ant-Man. 22 pulse-pounding pages of goodness that we're going to be looking at today. This issue is brought to you by Stan Lee, who wrote this issue. We have the artwork by Jack Kirby, inking by Dick Ayers, and the lettering page by Art Simek. So now let's go ahead and dive on into today's story. We see that we start out the issue with this big flaming streak that comes across all of New York. And we see here that this one guy discovers a blazing comet. We have the blazing streak help these doctors here who are working on the surgery with this person. And then we see that the flaming streak as well caught these guys, these criminals, off guard, and so now these criminals are being caught by the police. Where is this flaming streak coming from? It's coming from the Human Torch. The Human Torch is returning to the Baxter Building in haste here, and the reason for that is that the Fantastic Four have not answered his signal. Something is up here. The Fantastic Four usually are alerted here whenever a member of the Fantastic Four makes a signal. So the Human Torch flies into the Baxter Building. He's searching for the remaining 3 members of the Fantastic Four, and they're nowhere to be seen. All of a sudden, a tiny little hand reaches up to the Human Torch, and it looks like the 3 members of the Fantastic Four have been shrunk to ant size here, and they're about to be suctioned up into this air duct. So the Human Torch welds the duct shut with his flame, and then we see that these 3 members of the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Girl, and the Thing, return back to normal size. And we're going to then realize that for a couple of days now, each member of the Fantastic Four have been shrinking to ant size, and none of them have told each other about this because they're embarrassed about it. And all of a sudden, as they're revealing all this, they say, "Ha, you fools! You are helpless as putty before my power. This is only the beginning of what I have in store for you." So who could that be? Whose voice is that? Well, we see that each member of the Fantastic Four are going to recall how they were shrunk, and they were all embarrassing stories here as the Human Torch shrunk. We saw that the Thing shrunk too, causing this 3-ton-pound weight to crash into the floor. And we even seen how the Invisible Girl was on air here. She was being interviewed, and then out of nowhere, she shrinks to an ant-sized form, and that was so embarrassing for her. And so even Reed Richards shrunk when he was flying the Fantastic Four jet here, and all of a sudden he shrank to ant size, and luckily he was able to maneuver the jet without it crashing into a building. So all the members of the Fantastic Four are wondering about this astonishing fact. Why have they been shrinking to the ant-sized form? Maybe they need to contact someone that has been that size for a long time and has that power. Let's call the Ant-Man. So that's what they're going to do. And before they even get the Ant-Man on the phone, we see that there's an ant inside the Baxter Building, and this ant is going to relay it to other ants. And that's how whenever Ant-Man needs to know about danger or anything that's coming up, his ants will let him know through their antennas. And so we see that Henry Pym, along with his new aide, the Wasp, who made her debut in issue number 44 of Tales to Astonish, are alerted that basically the Fantastic Four are in need, and we see that Ant-Man is going to tell the Wasp to stay behind, that he will take care of this. So he's going to then get into his rocket launcher, miniaturized rocket launcher, sets the coordinates to the Fantastic Four headquarters, and is launched into air. And he is aided by his black ants here that have wings. And while the Thing is just about to call the Ant-Man on the phone, we see that the Ant-Man makes his appearance to the Fantastic Four, and then we see that Reed Richards places this crystal magnifying amplifier so that the Fantastic Four can hear the voice of the Ant-Man. And so basically Reed Richards tells Ant-Man about their story, and Ant-Man says that is very unusual to hear about. So here I have these reducing drops and these growing drops, and they're inside of this glass cylinder. These are for all of y'all. Whenever y'all reduce down to ant size again, take this drop of growing stuff and it will cause you to return back to normal. And you can also take the drop for reducing as well. But be careful. This is the only thing that I'm going to give y'all, and do not break it. And he said, I got to return now. I'm going to return to my lab and study this, and I'll be back soon. So we see that the Fantastic Four return back to their normal lives, and while the Thing the next day is helping Alicia, his girlfriend, tidy up her apartment, Reed Richards comes with another formula here, another chance to help Thing remain Ben Grimm. He's been trying his best to work an experiment so that the Thing can return to normal, but we see that this is just a little bit of a I don't know what we would call this. It's not going to last long. It's only the first phase, so it's not going to last long. But we see that the Thing reverts back to Ben Grimm here, and then he, of course, he should have put the piano down, but the piano crashes. And we learn here that Alicia Masters actually likes the Thing as the Thing. She doesn't want him to be Ben Grimm. She doesn't want Ben Grimm to change or the Thing to change. And Ben Grimm basically says, look, why don't you work on experiments on allowing Alicia to see again? Help her regain her sight. All of a sudden, a voice is alerted here by saying, flee for your lives, beware of Dr. Doom. He's trying to, oh, help. So some female voice is telling them this, and we're going to see that as the Human Torch is also going to hear this voice as well. It says, flee for your life, beware of Dr. Doom. And we're going to see that even the Invisible Girl learns of this as well. Flee for your life, beware of Dr. Doom. All of the members of the Fantastic Four gather together, and they're like, who is telling us this? This is a female voice telling this. Is this true? Is Dr. Doom really alive? We're going to have to figure this out for ourselves. So they take that reducing liquid, drink it, and now they're going to go into this microverse. And by the time they get there, they're going to discover that, in fact, Dr. Doom is alive, and he is the ruler of this microverse. And now the Fantastic Four are going to be his prisoners. And so we see here that Dr. Doom did not come unprepared. He's going to then shrink them down even more. And so now the Fantastic Four are just helpless against a giant Dr. Doom. And Dr. Doom is going to tell the Fantastic Four how he survived by basically saying that when he was reduced to this ant-sized form or shrank into nothingness, he was transported to this micro world where he learned that these people lived in peace, and he was going to put a stop to that. He met the king and the queen here and learned that he could use his scientific skills to become the personal scientist to the crown. And so what Dr. Doom did was he created this shrink ray that caused the king and the queen to shrink down to just nothingness here, or rather these ant or pint-sized forms. And he's like such a scientific genius, Dr. Doom, that he's the one that was playing around with the Fantastic Four. And now he tells all of his guards to get the Fantastic Four. And we see that the Fantastic Four are not going to go down without a fight here. But we see that Dr. Doom uses his sleep-inducing mist to cause the Fantastic Four to pass out here. And when they awaken, they are in this dank dungeon and with the king and the queen here. And I was like, oh, this is a good time now if we could alert Submariner with all this water around us. But they learned that this water is not water and these are not fish, but rather the water is actually acid and the fish are actually mechanical fish that will alert Dr. Doom of any kind of disturbance. And so the Fantastic Four are going to have to figure out how they are going to get out of this predicament here. And we see that the princess is going to alert basically the Fantastic Four of the coming presence of the lizard men. They are from Talk, T-O-K here, and they're going to meet up with Dr. Doom. And if the lizard men come, the Fantastic Four will be their prisoners. And that's just not good. We'll see exactly how much turmoil the Fantastic Four could be in. So we see that the Ant-Man returns to the Baxter building. He learns that there is a bunch of glass from the reducing serum vial. So he knows that the Fantastic Four are in the microverse. So he's going to take some of that reducing drink as well, and he's now going to go into the microverse to save the Fantastic Four. And upon getting into the microverse, he's going to then be defeated here by a bunch of Dr. Doom's men here. And Dr. Doom is like, another defeated intruder from the larger world above, eh? Good, good. The lizard men of Talk will pay me well for such healthy specimens. They will be arriving very soon now. So the Fantastic Four have to figure out how to get out of this predicament. They tear apart some of the wall because they know that this wall is not being affected by the acid. So they're going to form this kind of shell here to protect the Fantastic Four, the King, and the Queen. And so they go up into this acid here, and the thing is then going to blow into the hole, causing the shell to go up to then allowing the Fantastic Four to then again meet Dr. Doom. You see that the Visible Girl is going to save Ant-Man here, while the Thing and the Human Torch, as well as Reed Richards, is going to then take down the Lizard Men as the Thing swats them like a baseball bat hitting a baseball. And so now Dr. Doom's plan of defeating the Fantastic Four has been ruined here. He escapes into this hatch here, a secret hideaway, and he's going to then return back to the regular universe here. And so now the Fantastic Four have to worry about Dr. Doom next issue, but for now, we see that the King and Queen thanks the Fantastic Four for allowing Dr. Doom, the dictator, to leave their own world. And all Mr. Fantastic wants now is just to allow them to use the enlarging ray to return back to their own world to face Dr. Doom. And that is where we will pick up next issue, in issue number 17. I hope you like this issue. And so we have a lot to look forward to as the Fantastic Four fight Dr. Doom next issue. Hope to see you there. But go ahead now, give this video a like, comment down below what you liked about this issue, subscribe if you have not, and keep reading comics.